Yeah, I see how to do it now.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Got it.
So everybody knows that the 2006, 2007 um, effort was hoping for some kind of agreement on an upper ontology. The 20 years of summit challenges and partial results that Ken has talked about, the sustained community and awareness of ontologies is maybe the most important thing that has come out of the 20 years of effort, even though there's still no shared understanding of what an ontology is, how they're related to theories, semantics, intelligence, knowledge, agency, interoperability issues. And this good quote that Gary brought out last time: we like to think of AI as a challenge to human intelligence, but what if the real problem isn't how smart AI is becoming, but how little we understand by what we mean by knowledge? And so part of the question is why, 70 years after the start of AI and decades after the start of work in ontologies, there's still so little agreement on these basic background issues when AI was supposed to be a method for us to come to understand knowledge and intelligence. Okay, next slide. So how we got here, I think you can say that McCarthy in the 50s, by choosing AI as the framing rather than, I think, Simon and Newell wanted symbol processing as the label for their seminal conference, and or complex symbol processing, and there was an idea of calling it cybernetics. And McCarthy didn't want to do that because he didn't get along with what's his name, founder of cybernetics, who had written the book on communication and control in agents and machines. So even though if the whole field had been focused on communication and control in agents and machines for 70 years, I think we would have made a lot more intelligent effort to concretize these questions, because AI was to some extent defined in midair without any grounding. Now, this is from 69. We have McCarthy's influence on the relationship to AI. So an entity is intelligent if it has an adequate model of the world. At the bottom, he says, fortunately, undertaking to embody the philosophy in a computer program involves making enough philosophical presuppositions to exclude most philosophy as irrelevant. So there wasn't much effort to actually understand what ontologies were as of late 19th century, what had happened in metaphysics, where dogmatic metaphysics had been deprecated. There really is no such thing as an area of philosophy that studies being qua being. That's a framing from Aristotle, so it's highly out of date. The analytic philosophers interposed their own view that if we just formalize things well enough, then that will sort of discipline our thinking, and we won't have to think more deeply about what we're doing. Next. Okay, so this is the famous passage from Tom Gruber in '93, that was picked up by a lot of people, his definition of an ontology as an explicit specification of a conceptualization. Now, the term is borrowed from philosophy, or an ontology is a systematic account of existence. That's not really true, but it's an abstract, simplified view of the world. Now, this is an interesting point here. For knowledge-based systems, what exists is what can be represented. So that is true, and that is interesting, that what exists for a machine or a knowledge-based system is what can be represented. What exists for an animal or what exists for a human being is not what can be represented. This is a significant difference. And so we have fundamental incoherence here, where we need to take seriously that these are different. Next.
So, Janet, you have about 2 more minutes to finish.
Okay.
2 more minutes.
So McCarthy actually turned away from the simple assumptions of AI. In '89, he got interested in speech act theory and applying it to computers. And this is something that Barry has written a book on, the history of speech act theory. So this is very relevant to a more profound understanding of what communication and control is in humans, animals, and machines. Okay, next. Now, currently what is going on is, as I said, the world has bypassed the simplistic ideas of AI, going to collective multi-agent intelligence. And this is where ontology can really come to play a key role, I think. Here on the right, this is the Mike Levin, who does great work on exploring intelligence without dogmatic assumptions of where it's coming from. He wants to expand and cover these evolved life forms, engineered machines, AIs, and he says we're all collective intelligences, not just ants and bee colonies, but we're all made of parts that have become aligned to work together to give rise to systems. And the collective intelligence is different from that of the parts. No individual cells knows what a finger is or how many fingers you're supposed to have, but the collective absolutely does. Next.
1 more minute.
Okay, so reframing ontologies as model worlds for these intelligent agents, whatever species they are, solves problems of going from the old view to the new view. Next. This is based on Kant's critical turn in the metaphysics of late 18th century, where neither empiricists nor rationalists had actually thought through what the basis was for judging causality, substance, quality, quantity, modality, interdependence, and these are topics that we struggle with. These are the metaphysical topics that do not have good definitions. So we need a better philosophical grounding of what these are. Next. So both Peirce and von Uexküll specifically built on Kant, as did Husserl and Reinach and Robert Rosen, and they all agree on this general view of intelligence and how complex it is. It's fundamentally complex. So if we want to model intelligence, and we want to model intelligent agents, and we want to model their interoperation, we need to shift to this more complex view. Next. Next. Oh, so there are challenges that you would see in the slides that Ken has put out. Next. So the motivating question of neural networks for the cybernetics pioneer Warren McCulloch was, what is a number that a man may know it, and the man that he may know a number? And next. So the proposed motivating question of ontology should be, what is an ontology that it may guide an agent, and an agent that it may reflect an ontology? Okay, that's it.